Hello friends, this is Chetan from Chetty Networks where statistics lives. Today let us discuss about KSET 2021 solution to statistics questions and the questions which have been appeared in mathematical science. It is part 2 and we'll solve a few of the statistics questions. First question number 73. It's about Markov chain. State 1 and state 2 of a Markov chain are communicating. So what do you mean by communicating? That is Pij power m is greater than 0 for some m greater than or equal to 1 and Pji power n is greater than 0 for some n greater than or equal to 1. Then this state I and j are said to be communicating. So this is what is the meaning of communicating. Then which of the following is not true? So which of the following is not true means three statements are here which are correct. Okay, we have a statement that this transient state will lead to recurrent state, but recurrent state never leads to transient state. So this is one of the property of this transient and recurrent. And we have another property that if state I and state j, if these two communicates each other, then period of state I is exactly equal to period of state j. That is, period is denoted by di, so di is equal to dj. Okay, if I and j communicate each other, so that's why this second statement is true. And by this property, this transient state leads to recurrent state, but this recurrent state never leads to transient state. So since the recurrent state never leads to transient state, we can say that this is recurrence leads to recurrence only. So what has been given? Both state 1 and state 2 are recurrent. This might be true. And or both state 1 and state 2 are non-recurrent. So recurrent, there are two types in recurrent. One is positive recurrent, one is null recurrent. Okay. So if two states are communicating, then they have same period and they have the same property. So this statement is also true. And if state 2 is aperiodic, what do you mean by aperiodic? That is, this period of state 2 is 1. Okay, that is the meaning of aperiodic. So if state 2 is aperiodic, then limit as n tends to infinity, this p12 power n, this is equal to reciprocal of the expected number of transition of state 2, that is mu22. So limit as n tends to infinity, p12 power n, so this will converge to 1 by mu12. So this is right statement and this is a wrong statement. Let us take a simple example for this. Let us take a transition probability matrix 1 2. There are two states. Okay, and let us say it is 1 by 2 because row sum should be equal to 1, and let us take this as 1 by 3 and this as 2 by 3. Okay, this is row sum is 1. So this is a transition probability matrix. Now you can see that this period of state 1 is equal to period of state 2. So this has satisfied. And this period of state 2 is, it is aperiodic. So this transition probability is, that is equal to reciprocal of this mu12. This is also true. And these two states are, these are recurrent states. So this is also right statement. But you can see that this P11, this is equal to 1 by 2, and P22, this is equal to 2 by 3. These two are not equal, but he has given these are equal. So this is a not true. Okay, let us move to next question. This question is about just a minute. Let us consider a single observation. So this is based on testing. So single observation has been considered from Bernoulli distribution with the probability of success given as P. In testing, H0 P equal to 0.5 versus H1 P equal to 0.5. It is a simple versus simple. Okay. So we have this H0 P equal to 0.5 versus H1 P1, that is equal to 0.6. And then which of the non-randomized is telling? You have to make sure that is which of the following non-randomized test has no power. So let us take this, always reject it. And one more thing is that this P of x, this PMF for this Bernoulli distribution is P power x into 1 minus P power 1 minus x, and this x takes the value either 0 or 1. So this is the range of x. Okay, now what I say is this is reject h0, always reject h0. Means what is pi of x? Pi of x equal to 1, always he said. So reject with probability 1 whenever x takes the value 0 or 1 and 0 otherwise. Okay, because in the Bernoulli distribution the value taken by x is 0 and 1, only these two. And what is first option? Always reject h0. Always reject h0 means this is a test function. So you should reject with the probability 1 whenever x takes the value x equal to 0 or 1. Now what is the power? Expectation of pi of x under h1. So this is the power function. Okay, so now take the expectation of x. What is the formula for expectation of x? It is summation of x into p of x, right? So here in terms of x 1 is there, so 1 into probability that x takes the value x. Okay, so that is what is the value taken by x under p1. This should be under p1, that is x takes the value either 0 or x takes the value 1. Okay, so what is the probability of x equal to 0? Put x equal to 0 here in this equation. So that is 1 minus p1. If you put x equal to 0, p power 0, that is 1, value of this is 1, and here 1 minus 0, that is 1 minus p1. So that I have written. Plus when you take x equal to 1, this 1 minus 1, that is 0, 1 minus p1 power 0 is 1, because anything to the power 0 is 1, then this p1 remains here. Okay, so now substitute the value of p1. What is p1? 0.6. 1 minus 0.6 plus 0.6. So this is 1. What is saying? It has no power, but it is having some power here. Okay, now let us take this option. Always accept h0. Let us calculate the same thing for this. So what is the test function? Pi of x equal to, so always accept means what is the meaning of this? We can say that accept means accept with probability 0 when x takes the value 0 and 1. Whenever x takes the value 0 and 1, you have to accept. How to accept? We have to accept with probability 0 and 1 otherwise. Okay, now take the expectation of pi of x. Expectation of pi of x under h1. So that is equal to 0 into probability that x takes the value x. Okay, this is equal to 0 into anything is 0. So this has no power. So answer is D. Now you can verify this and this. So the test function for this, for option B, you can write the test function pi of x, that is equal to, he is saying reject when x equal to 0. So reject with the probability 1 when x takes the value 0. Okay, then accept when x takes the value 1. So this is, then you calculate expectation of pi of x under h1, then you will get some probability here. Okay, and you calculate the same thing for this, you will get some probability. For option D, you will not get any probability. So this is the answer. Answer is D. Okay, let us move to next question. And this question is about this normal distribution. Based on one observation from normal mu sigma square. Only one observation has been taken, that follows normal mu comma sigma square. Okay, what is saying? Which of the following is correct? He is asking about correct statement. Okay, A, B, C, D. So we know that if xi is a sample from normal mu comma sigma square, okay, then MLE of mu, that is mu cap MLE, this is given by x bar. Okay, what is x bar? It is 1 upon n summation of xi. Okay, this is MLE of mu cap if xi I running from 1 to n samples are there. Now what we have in this situation, this n is equal to 1, only one sample. Okay, here in this case we have only one sample. So in that case this x bar is equal to x. So what is mu cap MLE? This is mu cap MLE is x only. Okay, then what is sigma square cap MLE? For this it is 1 upon n summation I running from 1 to n xi minus x bar whole square. Okay, that x bar, this will be the MLE here, that is you should actually have mu cap MLE here, then that mu cap MLE is equal to x bar, so that is replaced here, right? So in this case, since we have only one observation, what is this? One observation is x minus its mean is itself, okay, and x minus x, so this is 0, so sigma cap MLE is 0. Okay, actually for one observation we cannot calculate variance, so option A is correct. MLE does not exist for this pair mu comma c. This is, they have asked jointly, this is not separate, this is jointly, so there is no MLE exist for only this, you have to take this consideration. Single observation you don't have MLE. Okay, let us move to next question. So this is about again an inference question. Here, which of the following statement is, again he is asking about not true. Okay, parametric test procedures are more powerful than non-parametric test procedures when underlying distribution is known. So whenever you have the knowledge about this population, you know this population suppose it is from normal distribution, you know it, then you make any inference regarding this. This will be more what I can say powerful rather than not knowing this. Suppose if it is a normal distribution but you don't have any knowledge that it is a normal distribution, so what you do? You do non-parametric tests, because in non-parametric test what you do, whenever you don't have any knowledge about this population parameter, what you do is you go for this construction of non-parametric tests. But here what he is saying, that parametric test procedures are more powerful than non-parametric tests when underlying distribution is known. So when it is known, this is more powerful. Okay, non-parametric test procedures are more robust than parametric test procedures when the underlying distribution is not known. If the underlying distribution is not known, if it is not known here, both the cases not known, so you go for non-parametric test here. Here you go for parametric test. In this case, these tests are more robust. So this is also true statement, this is also true statement. Okay, and both A and B are correct. Yes, this is right. Okay, so statement A is correct, statement B is correct, and hence this option C is correct, because both statement A and B are correct he has given here. Okay, so which of the following option statement is not true? This is not true, because both statements are right, so answer is D. Let us move to next question. In this question, it has been asked about, it's a simple direct question. Which of the following statistics make use of Fisher information? Z test statistic for testing single mean, this is does not use any Fisher information, and this likelihood ratio test, this also does not use, this also does not use. Only thing is this raw score test statistic, this statistic will use of Fisher information I of theta. Okay, so this is the right answer. So answer is B for 79. Now let us move to next question. So this is also very simple straightforward question. A block design has 4 blocks and 5 treatments. What is the maximum rank of design of a matrix, of such matrix? So you know that if C is a design matrix, then rank of C is at most T minus 1. It is less than or equal to T minus 1. So he is asked about maximum rank. So what is T? T is treatment. So how many treatments are there? 5 treatments are there. So 5 minus 1 equal to 4. So this is less than or equal to 4. Rank of this design matrix C, it is less than or equal to T minus 1. Value of T is 5. So it is less than or equal to 4. So at most it can take 4. So answer is D. And this Durbin-Watson test is not applicable to test for autocorrelation if the regression model contains which of the following. If this contains this lagged endogenous variable, this is not applicable. So answer is A. Okay, this is the right answer. Now we will move to next question. So this question is based on multivariate normal distribution. It's a very simple question. So what has been given, let us decompose it. X, this is vector x, this follows multivariate normal distribution with the parameter that is a dimension p and mean vector mu and variance covariance matrix sigma. Okay, he has given script sigma, and this sigma is positive definite. Now let us take y. This y, this is also a vector. This is nothing but sigma to the power minus 1 by 2 x minus mu. And this is a also symmetric, positive symmetric and positive definite matrix. And what he has asked is, what is the distribution of y1 plus y2 plus yp? So what is the distribution of this? What this follows? Because all are normal, so I just defined. So we have to find the parameter here, what it follows. So we know that this let us take a univariate case here. X follows normal with mean mu variance sigma square. Okay, now I take it as a univariate this thing. So what I do is, this is y, this is equal to, this is sigma square, this sigma is equivalent to sigma square to the power minus 1 by 2, right? And here it is x minus mu. This is vector x, it is just a scalar x. It is vector mu, it is just mu. Okay. Now y is equal to x minus mu. So this two goes, and x to the sigma to the power minus 1, it is in the so I will take it to the denominator. So this comes like this. So this is nothing but z. This is standard normal variate, SNV. If x follows normal with mean mu and variance sigma square, then we have z equal to x minus mu by sigma. This follows normal with mean 0 and variance 1. Okay, it's very simple. So in multivariate setup, what will happen? This z, this follows normal with the dimension p, whereas here 0 is there, no, it will take 0 vector, and here 1 is there. So instead of that, you will have IP. IP is identity matrix of order p by p. Okay, so now what we have? So this follows from this result. What you got? This follows. It is multivariate normal distribution with the mean vector 0 and IP. Okay. Now what he has given? What is the distribution of this y1 plus yp? So one more result is there. That is, if yi follows normal with mean 0 and variance 1, then sum of yi, this follows. What is the distribution of this? This follows normal. So summation I running from 1 to p. Okay. So 0 is added p times. Here 0 is added p times. Again it is 0. Okay. And again here 1 is added, 1 plus 1 plus 1 up to p times. So this is 1 plus 1 up to p times means p. So this is summation of yi. So what is the distribution of this? That is option B. Answer is B. We will go to next question. This is also related to multivariate normal distribution. It is related to principal component analysis. So he has given that is, suppose that eigenvalue and eigenvector pair. So this is eigenvalue and corresponding eigenvector he has given. So like that 3 eigenvalues and 3 eigenvectors are given. Now what we need to find? We need to find the third principal component, that is y3. So this is equal to, this is obtained by E transpose x. Okay, what is E transpose? This is actually E3. This one, this is eigenvector, no? So transpose of this is a row vector here. So transpose of this is a column vector. So 0, 0, 1. This is a column vector. Okay, and then what is x? There are 3 variables. So x1, x2, x3. So after multiplying this 0, this it goes, and only x3 remains. So y3 equal to x3. Answer is A. Very simple and direct question. Some of the questions are difficult and some of the questions are little easy. Now again it is a multivariate normal distribution. So let x1 to sum up to xn is a random sample from of size n from this normal p, that is a p dimensional normal variate with the mean vector mu and variance covariance matrix sigma. And this sigma is positively definite, mu is known to be mu naught. So it has been given. Then he has given these two results, that is n into Sn and n minus 1 into Sn minus 1. Then he is asking for the sufficient statistic for this covariance matrix, that is sigma. So let us take it very simple, that we convert this thing into what I can say is that univariate case. So you look it in terms of univariate case, you will get how to solve this. That is, let x follows normal with mean mu and variance sigma square. Okay, let us take only this case. So in this case, x bar is sufficient for mu. X bar is sufficient statistic for mu, and the sufficient statistic for this what I can say, this sigma square, summation of xi square and then this x bar, this both is jointly sufficient for sigma square in case of univariate. It is in case of univariate. Okay, now here also what we have is this mu equal to mu naught. This is known, he has given, this is known. So in that case, summation I running from 1 to n xi minus mu naught whole square, this is sufficient statistic for sigma square. Okay, now I will decompose this into multivariate setup, that is summation of this xi is there, no, I will put it as vector xi minus mu naught into xi minus this mu naught vector mu naught power, actually this should be transpose because this is a matrix in case of multivariate setup. Okay, here it is a scalar, but in case of multivariate setup this should be matrix. So I take transpose of this and I take the summation. So this is a sufficient statistic for this sigma. Here it is scalar, here it is a matrix. Okay, now you can see that, you can see here summation I ran from 1 to n xi minus mu naught, this transpose is here, and what he has done, he has this means multiplied it by 1 by n. So if a statistic t is sufficient for theta, then any one-to-one function, function of t is sufficient for theta. Okay, so this 1 by n, it is a, since it is a scalar or a constant you can say, so this constant is always one function, so this is sufficient statistic. So answer is C. C is the right answer. Okay, now we will move to next question. This is question number 91. I will explain in detail about this. Actually answer for this is ABC. I will explain it and I will give you a hint so that how you can do it. Suppose if you are confounding it for AB, okay, since A is present here, I take minus 1, and B is present here, I take it minus 1, and C is not present, so C plus 1. If we expand this and collect positive terms one side and negative terms one side, then that is a confounding effect. So here it is AB minus A minus B plus 1. So this is multiplication of these two terms, and then this C plus 1 I keep it as it is. So AB minus A minus B plus 1, and then I multiply this to C. So that is ABC minus AC minus BC plus C. Now collect positive terms one side. This is positive, this one, this one. So I can take C, AB, ABC, and then 1. So this is one side, and then here A, B, AC, BC. So this is the confounding this table, or replicate 1, replicate 2. Now you can easily say that this AB is confounded because see here A, B have occurred single, and then A with C, B with C. Like that for BC you can write by seeing this table. For BC write B, then C, then whichever is not present, A is not present. So A with B, A with C. Okay, then rest terms will come here. And what about AB, BC, and then AC? Okay, for AC it is very simple. Write A, write C, whichever is not present, B is not present. So A with B and C with B. And ABC comes here, then 1, and whichever is remaining, that is B, and then one more thing is C has covered here already. One more thing which has not been covered is A, B, A, C, then A, B, C, C. Just a minute. Okay, so whichever has not been covered, you write it here. Okay, so this is how this confounding works. Now they have given that is A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C, A, B, C has been given here. So it is not following any of these two. So the answer is this one. You can try this also. That is A. How to check the confounding of this ABC? That is A minus 1. It is present. B minus 1 and again C minus 1. Multiply this AB plus 1 minus A minus B and then C minus 1. Okay, ABC plus C minus AC minus BC and minus 1 is here. So minus AB minus 1 plus A plus B. Okay, so it is plus, it is plus, it is plus, it is plus. You can write A, B, C, A, B, C. This is one table. So that has been given. So ABC is confounded. So if you remember this, you can solve it in one go. Okay, we'll move to next question. So this is about reliability theory. Given hazard rate R of t go to lambda alpha t to the power alpha minus 1, and this t takes positive value, alpha is greater than 1 and lambda is greater than 0. Okay, now he is asking about which of the following statement is true. So what do you mean by hazard rate? Hazard rate, it is capital R of t. So that can be obtained as, there is nothing but integration of 0 to t R of x dx. So this is failure rate, this is failure rate, this is hazard function, this is hazard function, and this R of t, this is nothing but f of t divided by f bar of t. Okay, this f of t, it is a density function and this is a 1 minus distribution function, or it is also called as reliability function. So reliability function is, that is nothing but 1 minus f of t. So this is reliability function. Okay, so now what we want? We want which of the following is true. So we will look at it. Let me erase this first. Now we see that this first option, it is saying that it is the corresponding hazard function is this. Okay, let us integrate this 0 to t. What is R of x dx? You write this in terms of x. So lambda alpha t to the power alpha is there. So I write in terms of x because limit is t here, no? So that should not confuse. So alpha minus 1 dx. Okay, so after taking this, we'll just integrate this with respect to x. This lambda and alpha, it is independent of x, so it comes out as a constant, lambda alpha x to the power alpha minus 1 plus 1 divided by this alpha minus 1, this minus 1 plus 1 goes, so divided by alpha. So this goes with this. So this is nothing but lambda x to the power alpha. Okay, and what is the limit? 0 to t. Okay, so that is equal to lambda, instead of x you just put t to the power alpha, and when you take limit as 0, 0 into anything is 0, so this is the answer where t is greater than 0. You can check this, lambda t to the power alpha. So answer is A. And let us move to next question. Again a question, it is directly straightforward based on the result. x1 x2 so on up to xn be IID random variables from distribution function with the absolutely continuous function, and Ri be the rank. So here f is a distribution function, f of x, fi of x, and he has taken rank, that is rank Ri for these x1 to so on up to xn, and he has got a rank vector. Then what is the distribution of this rank vector? So a continuous distribution function is there. From this they have taken samples and then rank R1, R2 like this. And then what is the distribution of these ranks? So the distribution of this rank is this one. It is discrete uniform distribution over permutation of n integers. So this is the right answer. Answer is C. It is a result based question, and it comes under order statistics. Okay, we'll move to next question. So if you know one answer, you can eliminate this. There is a sampling method called as stratified sampling. In stratified sampling, what you do, you will be having this experimental unit. So you will divide this in such a way that this within strata should be homogeneous, and among these should be heterogeneous. Okay, suppose there is a college, and we want to survey the students. Suppose BSc, BCom, and then BA, these three are there. Then we stratify this in this way. So BCom is separate, BA is separate, BSc is separate, and these are homogeneous within themselves. These BSc students are same, but these are heterogeneous among themselves. Homogeneous within, heterogeneous among. Okay, so by that what you can say is that, so these are the options has been given. Population is divided into homogeneous subgroups and a sample is selected from that. So that is nothing but stratified sampling. So C is assigned to 4. Now you can see that this C is assigned to 4 only in this option. Okay, so need not to see all the options. So these all options are correctly matched by this option. So answer is B. Answer is B. Okay, now let us move to next question. I think this is the last question. So this has been is based on sampling theory. In stratified sampling, with N1 equal to 16 and N2 equal to 48, and he has given the values of S1 and S2. The Neyman optimum allocation, the Neyman allocation for fixed sample n equal to 24 is. So what is the value of N1 and N2 he is asking. Okay, so we have a formula, that is Ni is proportional to capital Ni into Si. Okay, and the summation of Ni, this is nothing but beta star into summation of Ni Si. Okay, so this summation of Ni is nothing but N1 plus N2. So he has given it as 24, so take it as 24 here. Go to, this is beta star, and summation of Ni Si, it is N1 S1 plus N2 S2. So you know the value of N1 S1, N2 S2, substitute that and get the value of beta star. So the value of beta star turns out to be 0.004425. Okay, so this is the value of beta star. Now by using this relation, so that is Ni equal to beta star into N1 Ni Si. Okay, you want N1 now, so N1 equal to 0.004 times, you know the value of N1, that is 16, S1 has been already given, so compute it, that is L1.56, and N2 accordingly put 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and substitute the values, we will get answer as 12.45. So you check that, it is answer A. Okay, so this completes the discussion of these questions. So thank you friends, thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day.